The CHUWI name might still be new in the Philippines, but a few months back, we got to try out one of their tablet PCs, the Hi10 Max. If you haven't checked out our review of it, you can hit that link here, or you can read our full review now live on the Yugatech website. But to summarize my experience with the Hi10 Max, it was a decent budget-friendly Windows tablet with a large 12.96-inch 3K display. While you couldn't exactly play games on it, at least you could get some work done or watch your favorite series. It also came with a stylus, making it somewhat decent for drawing. Now, if you found the Hi10 Max too big or maybe even too expensive, then you might be interested in the model we're checking out today, the CHUWI Hi10 X1. It's smaller than the Hi10 Max and doesn't come with a stylus this time. However, it's still a portable tablet PC that runs on Windows. Best of all, it's a lot more affordable too. So, without further ado, I'm Sam from Yugatech, and let's get on with our review of the CHUWI Hi10 X1. As always, we start with the design and construction of the CHUWI Hi10 X1. And just like its larger sibling, the Hi10 X1 features an all-metal construction which does lend to a more premium feel. The back panel of the tablet looks very much the same too, with its brushed gray metal finish. You have the Intel Inside logo at the center. The CHUWI logo is located at the bottom as part of the sticker. Interestingly, there is another Intel Inside sticker here, but this time in the blue colorway. At this point though, I feel that it's redundant and it just screams that this tablet is running Intel. At the top right corner, you'll find the rear camera. Now, if you're not too fond of the design of the back panel, you can get it with a bundle that includes a back cover that doubles as a stand. And it also comes with a keyboard, effectively covering it up. The downside is that this tablet becomes even thicker, and for reference, this is already a thick tablet for its size. And just look at it. Now, specifically, the tablet alone measures 10.1 millimeters thick and weighs 610 grams. This is bulky and heavy considering the Hi10 X1 only comes with a 10.1-inch display. If you fit the case and the keyboard like we have here, well, you have a pretty thick tablet in your hands. So if you're used to the weight of Android tablets or maybe even an iPad, you may have to adjust a bit. But there's good reason for the size, and it's all for the ports that are included in the tablet. You get a USB-A 2.0 port on the right side along with a 3.5mm audio port, while on the left side, you'll find two USB-C ports and a micro HDMI port. At the top, it's very much clean apart from the vents, while at the bottom, you'll find the keyboard connector. Speaking of the keyboard, it's quite decent for typing, but your fingers will get tired after a while. While the keys are soft, the small keys do make it a bit hard to type. And because of this, I made a lot of typing mistakes, especially when I was writing the script for this video. But still, for something that portable, it's not bad. What I didn't enjoy using was the trackpad. Not only is it tiny, but it also had an issue of automatically moving to a corner of the screen whenever I tried to hit the left click. So instead of clicking save or the button I wanted or the link I wanted, it would open up the taskbar or some other app, and it was very irritating. As a result, I ended up using a mouse just to compensate for that, or simply tap on the screen because this is a touchscreen after all. Overall, the design of the CHUWI Hi10 X1 is very similar to the Hi10 Max we reviewed a few months ago. While style is subjective, I do like the all-metal finish. However, it is very bulky, which makes it a bit cumbersome to bring around. Moving on to the display of the CHUWI Hi10 X1, you get a 10.1-inch touchscreen. There's nothing to write home about the screen since it's a basic IPS LCD panel and the resolution isn't that high. It's only 1280 by 800, but at least you have a 16 by 10 resolution, which is similar to that of newer laptops. As for the refresh rate, it's limited to 60 Hz. The colors of the screen aren't that great, and there's a heavy blue tint which you can actually see already on the screen. If you're used to OLED panels, then you might find this screen very lacking. The colors aren't as vibrant and the blacks aren't as deep, especially if you're watching shows on Netflix or even YouTube. However, despite the screen's native 1280 by 800 resolution, you can play YouTube videos up to 4K, which is a nice touch. Interestingly, CHUWI did not disclose how bright the screen can become, but from my experience, it is not the brightest since I had a hard time using it under direct sunlight. Indoors, there was no issue though. What I have to mention is that the viewing angles and the amount of reflection and glare that comes on the screen is quite a lot. The viewing angles aren't the best since this is just an IPS LCD panel. I mean, shift it left or right, and what you're watching quickly changes. If there's a lot of light in the area, like in our studio, the reflection and glare will also be a factor, as you can see here. But going back, as for the audio, I was surprised to find out that the speakers are louder than that of the Hi10 Max. Your smartphone's loudspeaker will still be louder, but at least you get to hear more with this tablet. Still, the sound quality is below average for me, and I would suggest using the 3.5mm audio port or pairing your favorite Bluetooth earphones or speakers for a better listening experience. As much as I don't want to, we have to talk about the cameras. As we always say with tablet cameras, you shouldn't really bother. At the rear, you have an 8-megapixel shooter, while at the front, you get a 5-megapixel camera for selfies and video conferences. Honestly, don't bother using the camera on the Hi10 X1. At best, they're only for taking pictures of documents, and that's about it. Your smartphone camera will definitely do a better job of taking photos, even if it's an entry-level unit. The front camera is somewhat decent for video calls though, so if you're outdoors and you just need to hop on that Zoom call, it works. And one more thing, it's a lot more hassle to take photos using the Hi10 X1. On Android tablets, you just have to click the app and you're ready to shoot. Since this is a Windows tablet PC, you have to open up the Start menu, type in the camera app, and then hit the app. Not exactly the easiest thing to do. Now we move on to one of the better aspects of the CHUWI Hi10 X1. Under the hood, the Hi10 X1 runs an Intel N100 chipset. Our unit comes with 8GB of LPDDR5 RAM and 256GB of SSD storage. Windows 11 is pre-installed out of the box too. You might think that 8GB of RAM and 256GB of storage isn't enough, and to be fair, you're right. But remember, this tablet PC isn't exactly something that would replace your laptop. If you're going to be using it mainly for productivity purposes with the Windows experience, then you should be fine. The processor can easily handle running multiple tabs of Chrome together with other programs such as Spotify and Discord. You can even have YouTube or even Netflix running and it will still handle it quite well. What you will notice is that the storage space can run out rather fast. The moment you start downloading lots of files or installing apps, it fills up this storage rather quickly. With that, I would recommend having an external hard drive on standby just in case. Just like the Hi10 Max, there's no dedicated GPU on the Hi10 X1, meaning you can't run games on this tablet PC. Well, at least that's what I initially thought based on my experience with the Hi10 Max. Surprisingly though, it can run Genshin Impact without any issues whatsoever. While I did have to turn down the graphics settings to the lowest, I still kept it at 60 FPS. The game still ran smoothly with only occasional frame rate drops once you start spamming multiple skills in one go. The graphics quality isn't great, but given how small the screen is, I wouldn't mind doing the dailies on this tablet. But for exploring the rest of Genshin's world, maybe not. So with that, I'm genuinely surprised that this small tablet could run Genshin Impact even at the lowest settings. To give you a better idea, you can check out our benchmark scores here. But of course, please do set your expectations. This isn't an i9 tablet or whatnot. Lastly, we have to talk about the battery of the CHUWI Hi10 X1. Given its compact size, you would expect it to have something big, right? Well, sadly, that isn't the case. It only packs a 25.84 watt-hour battery pack, or in smartphone terms, 3,400 milliamp hours. That's not a lot, and it shows. When fully charged, the tablet has only around 4 hours of battery life available, and that's according to the system settings. And as you know, that is a very optimistic battery output. When I was using the tablet just for work, from 100%, it went down to 65% after just an hour of use. Mind you, I was only using Chrome, Spotify, and had Discord open. If you plan on playing Genshin on this tablet, I highly recommend bringing a power bank or, using the supplied power brick. While we always say battery life is still dependent on the end user, you will likely find yourself looking for a wall socket every time you bring this around. Overall, the CHUWI Hi10 X1 is a decent Windows tablet PC. The chipset is decent enough for daily use, and it can even run Genshin Impact. The downside is the screen isn't exactly the best and the battery is quite short. But for me, all of that is something I can overlook given its very affordable price point. And just how affordable is this CHUWI Hi10 X1? Well, if you order it from the official CHUWI page on Shopee, it starts at 12,199 pesos for the tablet alone. If you want the package deal that includes the keyboard and the case, that only costs 15,199 pesos. To give you an idea, that's around the same as a lot of entry-level Android tablets, but with the CHUWI Hi10 X1, you're already running Windows. So, if you want a budget Windows tablet without breaking the bank, the CHUWI Hi10 X1 is one to consider. I mean, just set your expectations with what it can do. But what do you think of the CHUWI Hi10 X1? Would you cop or save up a bit more for the larger Hi10 Max? Whatever the case, share your thoughts in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed this video or found it informative, do drop a like and subscribe to watch more. Also, don't forget to follow us on our social media platforms, Facebook, X, Instagram, TikTok, and of course, visit yugatech.com for the latest tech news and reviews. Once again, this has been Jose, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.